Hey, Coach.
How's it going?
All right, thanks. We were just talking to the guys who, the award winners were announced. Just curious to get your thoughts as someone who has been in that spot a few times in your career. I know you guys have your eyes kind of on the ultimate team prize at the end of the season, but I imagine, is there some sort of satisfaction when you kind of get recognized as one of the better ones in your craft?
I think that's a question for each individual. I'm sure there's some source of pride, but I think they all have a good understanding of what they're here for, what they want to accomplish. I mean, no teammates call you 10 years from now and say, hey, remember the time you won that award? They call you and say, remember hoisting that cup and going to the, and having drinks out of it? That's what they call about. They don't call about individual stuff, ever. I don't know that anybody's ever done that.
Is there, just going off of that, I know that you talk about a lot, these guys stay even-keeled throughout the season, and even though there is chances to get high, get low, but is a opportunity like that, just again, going back, if you could draw back on your playing days, if you are nominated for something like this or win an award, does that, right before the playoffs even, in a crucial time of the year, does that little blip give you anything going into, again, this big time of the year?
Yeah, it takes away time where you got to just make a speech. So once again, I'd be cast my vote for doing this after the playoffs, in a separate night, and get the CFL back in the media and do up a deal. I'd be in favor of that.
Fair enough. That's all I got.
Mike, is there a lesson is there the club get pride in the fact that two Canadians got nominations that don't have to go to Canadians, in Brady and Tyrell Ford?
Yeah, I believe those two guys are proud to be Canadian. They're proud to be where they're from, I just think they believe they're out there playing football, and I don't think the team would see it any differently.
Yeah, I was thinking of what those guys' success being recognized says to younger kids. Basically,
yeah, I think
Canadian
there's an
kids.
opportunity there, obviously, if they are able to give back to their communities, and the football communities that they came from, for sure.
Sergio Castillo gave you a lot of love for believing in him and bringing him here. What have you made of Sergio's contribution this season after what was a really weird start in that first game?
Yeah. I mean, besides him being an excellent kicker and, a guy who works seriously at his craft, he's also a good, lighthearted teammate that brings a lot of joy to the locker room, and he is true to himself. Like, he's not trying to be anybody else, and he's not changing who he is, which is, that authenticity is always welcome in a locker room, I'm sure. I know it's welcome around this, with the coaches too. So he's a good, fun guy, and he happens to be a guy that you will trot out over 50, over 10 times in a season.
He did set the record for career 60-plus yarders and a single-season record for 50-plus yarders. Was that just circumstance? Was that, we should let this guy go?
Yeah, he was going. Like, you could just see it in his preparation, right? Everybody just knew that he was going to make those. So, yeah.
Would you have let him do 65 in that Calgary game?
You'd have to plunk me down on the sideline again for me to remember all the circumstance around it. Otherwise, I have no clue. Right.
Back to the awards. Oliveira won Most Outstanding Player and Canadian Player. What would you say separates him from other players in this league?
Ooh. Well, I don't know about separating. He distinguishes himself, I think, by the style of his game. There's not a lot of guys that are built like him and run like him. I think there's other guys that have other talents, and why does he rise to the top? I mean, he certainly has that desire to be excellent all the time. And I think if you asked Brady, he'd be talking about his offensive line and his running back coach and the offensive coordinator and the O-line coach, and the amount of guys that put work into allowing him to run the ball like he does. Now, once again, his style is something that we really like here and enjoy, and we've certainly enjoyed his success over the years. Other teams don't use that same type of back, right? So he separates for us because that's the style we like to use. I mean, he happens to be an unbelievable athlete, packaged in a different size and shape than a lot of guys.
And then looking ahead to Saturday's game, obviously a win or tie will put you in that first place in the West Division. If there's a loss, Saskatchewan, it kind of would depend on them. So why is it so important that you guys go out there and get the win?
Yeah, I think it's the same approach we have every week. You try to not, stack one game against the next and try and make one more important than the other. You really try this time of year to just stick to that process, knowing full well that the players, they're going to be asked all these same questions, and it's going to make them start to think a little differently possibly. And you just hope they remain even-keeled and understand that it's really about their prep this week that's going to, serve them well, and not worrying about, trying to get up more for one game than another. So we've talked about it for years. Just, we understand the ramifications of the outcome of this game, but you really can't be thinking about the outcome throughout the week, Just sort of prepare the way you should, play hard the way you should, play the game the way it's supposed to be played, and then the outcome, you look up at the scoreboard at the end, it'll tell you what happened.
And how confident are you in this team that they can get that win on Saturday?
I think this is a confident group. They know that anytime they prepare the way they should and play the way they should, they got a chance to win every game.
Mike, I want to ask you about Ontario Wilson. He's obviously come into his own after a slow start this season.
Oh, I think he's done really well for us. Showed right away his athleticism and, in the meeting room, his attention to detail and his ability to take the meeting room and put it out into practice, his ability to take a correction and apply it very, very quickly. And he's a hard-nosed guy. Like, he plays tough football. I don't know if you looked at him, if you'd say, you wouldn't look at his physical stature and think that possibly, but he plays a hard-nosed brand of football, right? He's fearless, which is fun to watch too.
But you're right about Brady. He did credit other teammates for his success or winning the award. They must take a great deal of pride in him winning that.
Yeah, once again, I think that's a question for them. I'm sure the O-line as a group likes to do well and likes to have a successful runner behind them. But I also think they like the fact that Brady understands protections extremely well, and he's got their back in the pass game, right? I don't know that a lot of guys are worrying about feeling prideful right now. I think they're worried about trying to figure out how to beat Montreal.
We just ask you for just a thought on Stanley getting the nomination as offensive lineman. He's only
Yeah, he's still really, really good. And once again, I don't think there's an argument anymore. He's going to go down in history as the best ever at his position.
Is there an age that he may one day hit the ability to start being surprised, like 47?
No,
49?
He's really good. Yeah.